Okay, Dynamic Castle Crasher Part 3. I just recorded a 5-minute video where I made a million mistakes, so I'm just going to start over and explain what I added. What I want to do is change the robot's behavior so that it always goes toward the closest thing. So how do I know this? How do I know what's closest? I added a custom block right here. After I know that I'm not on the edge, I point toward nearest. And what I've done is create two variables. Closest heading, which you'll remember is the direction that you're pointing, with 0 being north, and the closest distance, which I set it to an initial value of 1,000, which is like the maximum distance that anything could be away from you, pretty much. Or maybe 2,000 is better. Anyway, the robot is going to turn around in a 360-degree loop, which I have broken down 18 times into 20 degrees each. And every time this ticks 18 times, I'm asking a question. If distance in millimeters, which is the distance to the next thing in front of you, is less than the closest distance variable, which I originally set to 1,000, meaning you've just seen the closest thing, at least since you started the loop, or since you started this custom block, then what do? Well, we set the variables. We replace the value of the variable. The closest distance is now the distance that you see, and the closest heading is now your current heading. When this is done, we've collected all this information. Now I want to turn to the heading that is actually closest. So this is going to point me to the next thing. How did I organize this within our main algorithm here? I point toward nearest, and then I have a repeat until loop. I'm going to repeat this until not distance found in object. Kind of the opposite of what we were saying before. I'm going to keep going until the front sensor doesn't see anything anymore. So what do? I go forward for a certain amount, up to 100. Don't wait. Keep the code running. Let's see how this works. So I start by turning all around. I'm determining the closest thing. I turn toward it, and I have knocked down the closest thing, and it will go until it doesn't see anything anymore, or until it gets to the edge. And then every time it will repeat that entire circle and go all the way around 360 degrees, and then go back to the closest item. Whoa, and it just fell off the edge. Okay, failure. Well, anyway, I have a feeling that this will not improve my scores overall, and the main reason is that turn takes so long. Doing the scan, turning all the way around, it just takes way too long. So if I had multiple cameras pointing different directions, that might make it a lot easier to scan a larger area without having to go all the way around. But as it is, my distance sensor is only in the front. So I would have to turn 360 degrees around to see what the closest thing is, which I think is just too much of a time sacrifice. Let's pause this. Let's just see if this one works. All right, it fell off again. I have one more thing. I want to try. And that is, let's add another step. I don't want to turn all the way around. If I see something that is really close, I'm just going to go straight for it, whether it's the closest or not. Let's try that. Okay, very quickly. So what I've added is another if loop. If the distance is less than 100, then just set the new heading, and break, which gets me right out of the loop, which means I'm not even worried about whether it's the closest or not if it's that close. I'm just going to